Great. So yeah, welcome guys to another edition of Views from the East End. Here with DJ Flex as always, and I hope you're enjoying our workplace series. Episode 3 now.
Yeah, episode 3.
Talking about culture in the workplace.
Yes, different environments have different cultures.
That's it.
I mean, and of course you're a person of a type of culture.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta make sure that marriage, of your cultural beliefs or the ideologies and whatever works.
When you say culture, we're talking. I guess obviously religion is different, but can that be brought into it as well?
Yeah, because religion somehow shapes one's culture as well. So you want to be able to be in a place where, let's say if you're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, whatever, it works in that environment.
Okay.
I've been in workplaces where, when they have Ramadan, there's a prayer room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if that's something you're doing, you would appreciate that. Oh snap! Over here they offer a place to pray. Or if you're a prayerful person, so it was a multi-faith room. Like, so if you wanted to go there and pray or whatever the case may be, you could go in there and do that.
What about things like chapels for Christians? Have you had that?
Yeah, I've had that round the corner.
So not in the actual workplace.
So not in the actual workplace, but like around the corner there's a local chapel, and you was more than welcome, and the company would let you know that you could go there.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you wanted to go there, and it's no big deal. So on the religious aspect, which does integrate in a lot of people's cultures, you want to be able to be in a zone where, when those things are happening, you can feel free, to carry on as you would normally do.
True.
And there's other places I've gone to interviews. There was one interview I went to, this was near Bank, and I think it was like a bit of an old boys club over there.
Okay.
And he's like a young black fella, and at the end of the interview the guy was like, what, you're a great person and everything, but you just wouldn't fit culturally. And I got what he meant. Okay. Because these guys are older guys with a certain mentality, a certain way of thinking and everything else, and I wouldn't be the right fit. So there's that to be considered as well. Just from your background, would you fit in a place where it's not so diverse? So that's got to be considered. There's some places where it's not so diverse, but they don't see color anyway. It just happens to be no one of color has applied.
Yeah, true.
It does happen.
True.
And there's other places where they just don't want people of color. That's just how it goes. So unless if you came in via someone who knows you and they have their own department and they've brought you in there, so they couldn't block that move, if you get what I mean. So all of that has to be considered when you are in a place of work, and I've when you do come in and let's say you want to almost like on your day one, like we spoke about in the last podcast, you kind of want to see people like you, and I don't mean it in a way of color all the time, but you can tell how someone is talking and moving. I can get along with this person, and so you want people you can quickly get drawn to.
Right.
So you can help you fit in a lot faster. Because you realize, these guys, they like sports, and so that's like they got like that kind of culture here, whereas they're into that kind of stuff, and maybe they're into going out after work and music and all this other stuff. So okay, that's the type of culture, that's the type of vibe. Boom, it's a way of connecting because you already have those points of interest yourself, but then if you're someone who, like, no shade on the book readers or whatever, but like if you like reading books and then you're in a place where they don't appreciate that kind of stuff, who can you vibe with?
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. So I always look at that and I think, man, it's important. So when I'm in the interview, going back all the way to episode 1, one of the questions I do ask is, what types of culture, cultural things do you guys do in the office? Do you have like International Women's Day? Do you guys have, do you guys even look into Father's Day? That's a big thing. That's something which doesn't even get looked at.
I think they do that actually in the Easter, the Christmases, that sort of stuff. But when it comes to, again, Father's Day, and I think things that maybe for us a bit closer to home, I guess. So maybe if you've got somebody in the office whose country is celebrating maybe Ghana Independence Day, Jamaica Independence Day,
You know, do you guys
Do you
celebrate
know
that
that?
as well?
Yeah. Or maybe if you don't celebrate it, say, okay, we've got an employee who's
You
from that
acknowledge
country.
it.
Yeah, acknowledge it. So
You know what I
Richard,
mean?
thanks to that, here's a little gift from us. So just stuff like that. It
Whatever
shows
the
that you
case.
care, really,
Yeah.
doesn't it? You
All
know?
of that makes a difference to
Yeah.
someone being in a particular place. You know, I remember in a couple of workplaces, you know, we would celebrate, you know, Chinese New Year, and we would celebrate obviously Christmas and, you know, the Ramadan and Eid and all the other stuff. You know, you would try and incorporate as much as cultures, you know, what you're available would allow you to incorporate. You
I think
know what
sometimes it helps because some businesses are worldwide businesses.
Of course.
So they might have offices in different countries, so that it's easier to do that. Whereas if you've got a UK-based company, maybe you're not aware of other. I mean, you can't say you're not aware because it's on the news and stuff, isn't it? But maybe you just don't care as much, I guess, because
Of course.
you don't. You feel as if, okay, what's the need for it?
Yeah, what's the need for it? It's not what they're on. So I think it's important. You know, I remember like one of my guys, he was hiring someone, and you know, it was I think this person I don't know if this was an intern or whatever, but he came through, and in his workplace there's just predominantly more white people. So now we're talking about, you know, culture in terms of, you know, color and creed and whatever. So this guy comes in, and then he goes to my guy, he's like, man, where are all our peoples at?
Really?
Yeah. And so, but then like there was like other white people standing right there as well, like, and then, you know, you've got this guy who's clearly from, you know, somewhere like maybe like some type of ends or whatever, like he identifies with you because he can see that, well, you're here, but where the heck is everybody else? You know what I mean? And then you kind of drives back home the idea that, oh man, you know, the place isn't as diverse as it could be. You know what I mean?
I think it comes down to, again, as you mentioned as well, maybe people haven't applied for that role.
And that's just the other thing, you know, like you can't fault business for not having certain types of people if they just don't have the skill set, or if they haven't even bothered to apply, or whatever the case may be.
It's true, because sometimes people might expect people's employers to employ people because, as you mentioned, it's good to have a various amount of cultures and businesses, but if you can't do the job, or if you don't fit, if you just don't fit,
then you just don't fit.
They can't employ you, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So maybe sometimes we look at it from the perspective of thinking, oh, they don't like this person, they don't like that person. But it's not as simple as that.
It's not always the case, you know what I mean? But I have heard, you know, from other companies that there is a diversity program. And for me, I think such a thing shouldn't even exist. You know what I mean?
It's like you have to get your company to
train
people. It's like you have to train people to accept that.
To accept people of other cultures, faiths, religion, and all other stuff. Whereas, mate, like, we just need to work. You know, it's like we shouldn't even be looking at, we need, so like 10% of our workforce have to be women. That's crazy to me.
So you're just doing
like, if they're good, they're good. You know, if like 10% of our workforce have to be coloured. If they're good, they're good. Like, this shouldn't even be a discussion.
It just sounds like you're filling a position, or you're just filling a certain amount of positions.
100%.
To fit the bill, really.
100%. I mean, sometimes I feel like, you know, sometimes we only get the position because, you know, we are coloured and we happen to have the skills. Do you get what I mean? It's not because, you know, they genuinely wanted you. They wish they could have had Robert. But, you know, we already have too many of those. So we have to, you know what I mean? And that's not how, in an ideal world, you know what I mean, I wouldn't wish for it to be like that. But what you will find is when you do go to some workplaces, and what I've also found is that the higher up you do go on your ladder or your career, you'll just begin to see that, you know, even though there might not be, like, let's say there might be lots of color at the bottom of the mountain, the higher up the mountain you go, the whiter it gets.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean?
All the guys with the power in it. Sort of,
it's at the top. And then you might find the one or two colored people which have somehow, you know, gotten there as well, but then they ain't no different from the people which are there.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess they have to be that way because otherwise they will stand out.
It's true, yeah. So I guess it just comes down to being comfortable where you're working, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I think all of that plays a major factor. I mean, I know people which have turned down promotions and whatnot just simply because it doesn't sit well with them that, you know, they've only got the promotion because of their color or because of, you know, the type of
what's
culture.
That say, though? If I'm getting a position because of my color, that means when it suits you, I'll be out the door then. Really.
But that's usually the case.
I'm not getting it because I've earned it.
Nah.
I'm getting it because it's easier for you to support me then in that position.
Yeah. Because look, there are some places they have to report back to be able to say, yeah, we have two directors, one is black and one's Asian.
That's the thing. That's what I think. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like you look at different lines of work. Whether you work in office, you work in sports, or you work in entertainment.
But even if you look
It's
at
like-
sports, for example, right, and let's just take football because that's what we're into, you'll see, well, how many black managers are there? Really?
There's been talk recently about having more Asian players as well.
Well, there should be, because I've played at semi-pro level and I've played amateur and everything else, and they are good players there, which are Asian, Indian, Pakistan, what's that, Vietnamese, they can play. Philippine, people, they can play. But why are we not seeing a representation of this in football? Why are we only really seeing black or white players? We're not even really seeing, the dual heritage type of players where one is, white and Indian or black and Indian. Or, we're not even seeing, Hamza Chowdhury is the only one at Leicester.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to think.
Crazy, yeah. I actually didn't even know he was in as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I thought it was English. I thought it was mixed race, to be honest.
Well, he is. He is because, there's black and there's Indian. So you are the races. But why
I
is
had no
he...
idea his background. I just thought maybe he was like, Danny Simpson or something.
So it's mad. So when you look at like sports and everything else, you realize it's the same struggle they're facing on their end.
But I feel as if all
Then
these
you're facing
campaigns
the
we're getting,
world.
as you mentioned about the diversity program, it's like people are forcing it down your throats now. So you have to do this, so make sure you do it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're
It's not
going out.
cool.
It's not like you're going out of your way to want to do it.
No.
But it all starts from outside of these work environments. It's a society thing.
Yeah.
So if we're learning to accept people on the society level, then that should automatically be incorporated into work.
Yeah, no, it should do.
But it's like we're giving programs and we're having to ask people, we're having to ask questions of why is it like this? Why is it like
some
this?
people deep down at the end of the day, they like what they like. You know what I mean? And they're comfortable with what they're comfortable with. And if you happen to be in an interview room and that's the type of person you meet, it could either work for you or against you.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? Because you could be there and you have someone who doesn't see color.
Yeah.
That works for you if you're of, colored descent. And then you have someone who has had bad experience working with, let's say if you're of color, you've had bad experience working with someone who is not of color.
Mm.
So then now by default, you've already struck that person off the list. You know what I mean?
It's just not right.
Or
You're making a judgment
it's
based
not
on one
right.
experience.
What can you do? What can you offer? I mean, that's the line of... that's how it should be, but it's not. And that's something which I feel like in a workplace you might come to find that like you're here and everything else, and you might be okay with your team, but then there's a manager, might not even be the manager of your team, but might be a manager of another team who just doesn't really care for you in any type of way.
It happens.
And
I
it
think
happens.
sometimes I've been lucky enough to work in places where it's not been like that. I guess I've worked in places where I can say I've stood up because I'm the only person of that, or I'm one of the very.
You're the only black person, to put it lightly.
Well, I'm one of the very few who are black in it.
Yeah.
But if you can do, like you said, if you can offer something good, then they don't look at that.
No,
They don't look at
they
it.
don't.
You know what I mean? As long as you come in, because at the end of the day, you're employed to do a job there, isn't it?
That's it.
You can come in, you can produce every day. You're not a nuisance. You get along with everyone. That's fine.
That's it. That's
But
what that matters.
as you mentioned, some places there is that constant power struggle, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of having to, you might be doing everything right, you might be ticking all the boxes, but as you said, there's someone out there who just doesn't really approve of you for some reason.
They just don't. They just look at you and just be like, man, I got robbed by one of these guys one day. I don't know where this guy's from. He kind of looked like that guy who robbed me.
But it's like, you tell them where you're from. You're, okay, we're from obviously East London and Hackney, Leighton.
But some people, when you say Hackney, like
Yes,
Hackney,
but some of them actually
people live there.
Some people actually. I went to a job work experience in 2010, and I had a chance to meet everyone on the team on the individual level. And the guy says to me, "You're from Hackney?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, that's really surprised at that. I'm really happy you're from Hackney because Hackney does get a bad rep." But to see that you can actually come in here and of how you are, your personality, how you come across,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm happy about
It's
that.
like, don't believe everything you hear
Do
in
you know
the
what I mean?
news.
And I was thinking that's actually really good because someone's actually giving me positive feedback on that. And he spoke to me about Hackney Marshall. He spoke to me about an advert that took place in the 90s where I I think a couple of footballers came down to shoot a commercial there, and I think Messi was there at one point as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. That was Hackney Marsh.
Hackney Marsh, yeah, he's supposed to ball with that as well. And I was like, oh, you know about Hackney? He's like, yeah, I know about Hackney because I've got friends who live down there.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like, again, you see, so it's like at least he's took the time to get to know you and realize, man, they ain't all out here robbing people. They ain't out here being a certain way. I just find it weird. Some people say, oh, Hackney?
Some people just get an idea in their head based on what they read or see, and they just don't want to change that idea.
And you know what? And if everyone else was like that about people which live in Kensington or whatever, and be like, well, they're all just, got their knickers in a twist or whatever the case may be, that would be an unfair assumption to make, wouldn't it?
We live in a society where it's very judgmental, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sometimes you can't change everyone's mindset.
No, well, but you can try one mind at a time.
I mean, I can do it from the basis that I'm working for you. Okay, I'm from that place. I'm of this colour, but I can show you on a day-to-day I'm not like that.
Yeah.
I can't change your mind about your general perception of us as a whole. But I can prove to you, okay, I'm Richard. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So that's my impression for you.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm doing day to day. So you can take that or leave that. Really.
No, of course.
I can't change who I am.
Of course.
If you've got a problem with a group of us, then that's your problem. But as long as I'm here, I'm showing you what I can do. This is me, I guess. So again, I can't change everyone's mind, but you can only do it for you, really, isn't it?
No, I mean, because I've heard stories where the interviewees they look at people's addresses, and you get disqualified based on your address. Your postcode.
Don't put Hackney down, guys.
I'm telling you get disqualified. Some people just that's auto disqualification.
Anywhere in South London.
Anywhere in South London, I see that, I'm gonna throw in the bin. You know what I mean?
It's true. Literally, people even based on their surnames as well.
Yeah, some people look at it and think, "What Oluwafemi?"
Can't pronounce that surname.
There's too many syllables, mate. Let's leave it.
It's like, I can't even pronounce this guy. He's African, and I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
It happens. I'm not. Obviously, we're having banter and stuff, but it happens. Like,
it's
people
real.
do this.
It's real, and this is where you have some people. You come in and you realize, their name is like they'll say, my name is this," and then when you see their proper name, you're like, that ain't your name. Yeah, I mean, your real name is whatever this is. You know what I mean? And then you've got, what other people like of Indian descent and everything else, and then their names sometimes can be quite long and confusing, and you'll see that they've just taken a block of their name and a block of their last name, and boom, that's the name. You know what I mean?
It's true, is it? Do you think is that the reason why certain groups do certain jobs? Do you think?
Yeah, because some people they've kind of stuck to it and thought that, I'm not even going to try and go and get any trouble, for trying to apply for another job or trying to whatever. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm in my zone. Like, for example, if I'm an Uber driver, like, wherever my name or like my name or whatever, you're going when the Uber comes.
The customers don't care, do they?
They don't care. You're just going to jump in the car, I'm going to take you to where you're going, and we're done. You know what I mean?
Like bus drivers as well.
Bus drivers and all that, you just hop in, hop off, whatever the case may be. But you don't want to be, let's say, in a meeting and then, someone can't even say your name. Do you get what I mean? Because they're looking at it and it's just beating them all ends up. They just don't even know how to they just can't even get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's embarrassing. But you know what's the crazy thing about it is that, like, if you was born here and you was going through the school system over here and everything else, that was always a struggle anyway, if your name was complicated.
But I
think
think
they've got better now.
Schools have to schools have to have kids, innit? They got to fill up the schools with
No. That's what I'm saying. But like, can you imagine the embarrassment for the kid with that the teacher can't even say their name?
Yeah, some people get,
and then they get teased.
Some people actually get called. You're right. People actually compare your name to something else.
Yeah.
And just use that as your name instead of your real name.
Instead of your real name, because they just can't get your name. You get what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
It's things like that where it's just like, the cultural, like, illiteracy. Let's say, I think culture, the literacy rate is low. And that's something that needs to be increased.
I just think sometimes people just don't want to take the time to get to know your cultural. I mean, people, as you said, you're talking about names and stuff like that. People just, I think, because sometimes we come from cultures where names have meanings, don't they?
Yeah.
And some people might look at a name and think that's an interesting name, but they won't get to know the reason why you're called out or what's behind that name.
Yeah. I get it. Look, it's not every day you're gonna feel like
it's not a business.
Get to know and whatever the case may be. Yeah, but like, of course, like, if you can at least appreciate that this person, obviously the descendants are not from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you can try and find out a bit more. Also, where are your parents from? Oh yeah, they're from India, China, Ghana, Nigeria, whatever. You know what I mean? And at least you know who you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Because once you kind of understand the background of this person, you can kind of get a good idea of the mentality of the person based on the background of the person, and then you know how to integrate them in a workplace.
Because everyone's different. I think when you see in a work environment, it's not 24 hours, is it?
No.
Everyone's got a life beyond work.
100%.
Everyone's got things that they do after work hours as well, before whatever, on the weekend or whatever. So I think you're just there. You're employed to do a job, isn't it?
That's
and
it.
I think some people, as you said, don't want to get in trouble, so they're going to come in, crack on, and go
home
home afterwards.
That's
and
it.
and
they
that's
don't even
it,
want to
really.
make friends or nothing like that.
Yeah, some people literally come in. You don't hear from them at all. You
Clock
don't
out.
hear a word from them. The only thing you might hear is morning. That's it.
That's it. You won't even see them again.
Or goodbye.
That's it.
Have a nice evening.
That's it.
All right, see you later.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That's like that at one point as well. It's like sometimes you come into work, like it depends what week you're having. So you have a good week and you're like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? Yeah, I'm just gonna go out.
Yeah, don't you find those kind of questions like you feel like you really care? Like that's just how
sometimes,
I feel.
Sometimes
like,
actually,
I
I
mean?
like that because sometimes like on a Friday, like one of the managers, she would come up to me and she was like, "What are you doing, Rich? What are you doing tomorrow, Rich?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going out doing this and doing that." And then you don't even just talk about work. You start to talk about, "Oh, you like Marvel? Oh, you like this? You like that?" So I think that that actually helps you.
I just feel like if it's genuine, I don't mind the
I think
conversation. But some people, they just it's like, oh man, just get out.
There's some people you work with who they want something from you from the work, and they just do it to make conversation.
Yeah, I don't like that,
And
man.
I know that people do that.
Just be direct with it. This is what you came for. Let's not try let's just be real, innit? You're here because you need help. You're not here because you want to know about Marvel. You're not here because you know about my weekend. You're not here because you know what I'm doing after work.
I think people do that just to break the ice.
But dead that talk, innit? Let's just get straight to it. We're here at work. We're not standing outside. You know what I mean? Like, we're not standing outside.
I know what you mean. I just feel like sometimes, depending on, listen, I work with a lot of people, and the longer you work, you get to know everyone properly. And there's people who are genuine and they actually do care about what you do. Because on a Monday, they'll ask you, how was the film? How was the film?
And they remembered what you said.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with those kind of people. And you know, that's a genuine person.
Yeah.
But then there's the other type of person who might seem like they're really cool with you in the office.
Oh, no,
and then when you get outside and you're walking past them, and you'll say hi, they just walk right past you. Like they ain't even see you.
Yeah, there's people like that. And
I think that's wild. The first day that happened to me, I thought that was crazy.
No, but it helps.
I was like, I proper said hi to the person and they just kept walking. I was like, rah. But like, didn't I just not talk to you like 3-4 hours ago? Like, how is
some people actually on the corridor, they'll go to the opposite side
just to avoid you?
There was one place where there's a toilet on both sides.
Yeah.
And there's like the corridors. There's two ways in the corridor. Not to explain it, but there's two ways. And offices, you can get to office from either side.
Yeah.
And there's a kitchen in the middle, and there's toilets as well. You can either go through that way, or you can go straight down and go to the toilet. And there's one person literally, they would come out the office and they'll literally go the long way.
See?
Just to avoid you.
That's what I'm saying.
Thinking,
just weird, man. There's like something like there's like some strange people in the office.
I think sometimes you go for team nights out and stuff, and there's some people who are very, very chatty.
Yeah.
But you come to them on a Monday and you're thinking, like you just said, like we've had a really good conversation on a Friday, and now it's like,
once I suss you out like that,
what my name is.
Once I suss you out like that, I don't waste any more time on you.
Yeah, I'm like that as well. There's people I work with who are genuine and who I'm friends with to this day. Like I don't really consider them as people I used to work with. They're actually friends now.
Yeah.
So they're cool. But there's other people like you mentioned who, you know, they're just there to break the ice.
I'm not interested.
They want something from you.
But
and
just come straight, man. Just come straight with it. I'm not here for the foreplay before what you need. You know what I mean? Just come and tell me you want this. I give you that. You crack on. We're here. We're working at the end of the day, are we? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's cool. You know what I mean? How you like to wrap this one up, Richard?
But yeah, I think culture is something that, again, we can't change it, isn't it? It's us. And as you mentioned, you just said that a minute ago, we're there to do a job.
That's it.
But I do feel as if when you're working in places where they're having to accept different cultural backgrounds because they're just doing it to fill positions, or they're just there to sort of have a good, is it PR look?
Yeah,
PR
of course,
look.
Of course.
Then that's not good, I guess. I think end of the day, you're hired because of your capabilities and your skill set.
Yeah, man.
And you shouldn't be looked at based on where you're from, or even what your interests are, what you like. End of the day, because like I said, work is a temporary thing. We've got lives outside of work.
That's it.
And you never know, you might move on from there as well. So I think culture. So listen, if you're going through a culture struggle at the moment, it's not something that you're alone in.
No,
many people go through
happens, man.
It happens everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And I think it does put up barriers for certain people because, as I just said, sometimes certain people are forced to go into certain lines of work because they don't feel as if they'll be accepted if they try something different. It just puts barriers on, really, and it shouldn't be like that. To be fair, it shouldn't, just because you've got a long name that people can't pronounce shouldn't limit your future, should it?
It shouldn't do, but
but it does.
It does, man. I know people which have, I don't know them, but I've heard of people which have changed their names altogether, man.
Yeah, just because
that's just wild.
They're struggling to be accepted. Do you know what I mean? So. For me personally, I had to wrap it up. I can't change that. I can't change companies and employees' mindsets on it. All I can do is, or I can say you can do is, when you go into work, represent yourself well.
Yeah.
Represent yourself well. Do what you're there to do. Make a good lasting impression, because you want them to remember you for what you did at the business.
Yeah.
Sometimes people can sort of get caught up in the commotion of the political differences, and that overshadows what they can actually do.
Yeah.
So don't fall into that trap.
100%.
Go in there, represent yourself well, and your work will speak for itself.
It will eventually.
So that's all I can say. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Nah, man. As always, you just done it all. You know what I mean? Like, it makes my life easy.
But listen, what we will say is that I hope you're enjoying our workplace series so far. Episode 4. Again, we're talking about conflict in the workplace.
Yeah, man. We're talking about resignations.
Yeah, I think handing notice, isn't it? I think you've got some interesting stories.
Yeah, it's good stories on that one.
So, listen, stay tuned on that one. But in the meantime, feel free to like our video, and also please subscribe, share as well. Also, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section as well. And if you've got any ideas what you'd like us to talk about, put those in there.
100%.
We're on Libsyn, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes,
everywhere,
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at EEView. So listen, keep up to date with us.
Keep up to date. We're back, man. I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Fault, though, anyway.
It was my fault.
You went away, so
I wasn't here.
I can't do it myself, innit? So.
Well, he could.
I could as well. I don't know. Technical stuff, I'm not used to it. But listen, if you want to be on our show, if you want to be a guest on our podcast, just let us know. Again, if you've got topics you want to talk about and you'd like to sort of have your say, then keep in touch.
100%.
But yeah, until next time, we'll see you then.